2024. And we're gonna do roll call for our record.
Bart Gregg.
Pete Angie, chair,
Carl Klankowski, alternate.
and online.
Brenda Little via Zoom.
Excellent. And I would accept a motion to vote in Carl Klankowski alternate as a voting member tonight, so we have a quorum in person.
Motion.
Right, and I will second that motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. All right. Approval of agenda. I'd like to strike one item from. Okay, looks like it's already been struck from there. That was the DD3 discussion, but we're gonna, oh, no, I see it. Item C, under old business items. I'd like to strike the Van Noble Smokehouse project discussion from tonight's agenda, at the request of the applicant. And then with that said, I would accept any other additions or comments on the agenda as it stands.
None for me.
Then I would accept a motion to approve tonight's agenda as written
With the
with
removal.
the removal of Van Noble Smokehouse project.
Make the motion.
All right,
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Our minutes for tonight are from the December 19th meeting. Have folks been in receipt of those minutes, had a chance to review them?
Yes.
And any comments, additions, edits for our December 19th minutes?
None from me.
Okay, all right. So I would accept a motion to approve the minutes from our December 19th planning board meeting.
Make the motion to approve the minutes from the 19th of December meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. So tonight we have Angel Hearts Market special permit and site plan review, followed by Gulky Tram site plan review, Burris 2-lot land subdivision, and Bennett 2-lot land subdivision. Those are the items that we'll be talking about tonight. Is there anyone here from the community that's not an applicant that would like to take advantage of privilege of the floor? This is an opportunity to address the planning board with any items of interest that you think we should be aware of. Any takers for privilege of the floor, even up online? No takers? Okay. Now we will close privilege of the floor and we'll move on to Angel Hearts Market. This is special permit and site plan review. This is a continuation of the public hearing. We began our public hearing previously and we'd requested some additional information, which you've provided. And I would like to I would just want to say, I think you've done an excellent job of, meeting what we asked for. And I would like to give you a chance to just elaborate on any changes that you may have, because this is a continuation of the public hearing.
Yeah, since we were here in October, as you said, you asked for some additional information, which was, it was warranted for sure, because at that time we had mentioned that we were looking at relocating the septic system for the whole project.
Yeah.
And that would enable us to use the new well. It would be less disturbance on the existing property. So there were a whole host of things why it was a good idea. So myself and Andy, we engaged in that process, and Andy, he worked with county health department on that. And it took some time. That and the other piece of information you were looking for was DOT right away, and their sign off on that. So as you know, NISDOT, they take a little bit of time, so we had to reschedule a few times. But I think at this point we have all the information that had been requested between health department and NISDOT for right away and sign off on that. So, I think I'll turn it over to Andy to kind of explain, where we're at right now.
Yeah, hi, welcome back.
Andy Sharaba Engineering. So I'll go through, all the documents you see here, we're showing it to you, so are you?
Yep, yep,
So the septic system, as John mentioned, originally we were looking at putting the septic system for the market uphill of the new building. That area is pretty steep, lots of trees in the area, so there's some concerns from the board about drainage, how you drain around the septic system, how that would function. We revisited the site in discussions with the health department to try to utilize just the well that was drilled, which is here. We looked at it consolidated. There's currently a septic system for the house. It was replaced in, I think, 88. It was replaced, so it's 25 years, maybe close to the end of its life. So the current plan is we're gonna be pumping up the hill anyway. So we'll still pump from the market, we'll pump over to one common leach field. Talking to the health department, we'll install a enhanced treatment unit instead of a septic system that does a much better job of treating initially what goes into the tank. For details, it treats it to a point where you can reduce the size of the leach field. The soil doesn't have to do as much work. So we're doing that, installing one system that will replace the existing system for the house. It will be taking any trees down.
Yeah.
Nice thing about that too is the septic system is downhill. Up the well. Instead of being uphill, it's further away. So there were a lot of positives to reconsidering.
I think our main concern last time was that it was uphill of the, of your project and, when we talked last time, you're like, well, we want to move it, but we just didn't have the details, so. It's great to see that worked out, that you could use, a consolidated leach field. It's a great idea. It also solves the well issues as well.
It also, it works out well for the homeowners. Drew and Kim, we talked, we're like, could you imagine you put all this money into this new property and you put this new septic system in, and then the next year your house system fails. So it's really a 2-for-1 because they have a system that serves the entire project now.
Yeah,
The home and the business.
that's great.
So I think this will work out. Any other questions on the septic or water? Part of this?
No,
And
for
for
me,
me-
Linda, no.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
And then working with DOT. Board requested kind of a sign off from the DOT that they were okay with the entrance off of 89 exit onto Garrett Road. The DOT came back to us, if folks are familiar with the DOT process, it's like a 3-stage process. We did stage 1, which was very preliminary information based on the conceptual plans. They were fine with that. To go farther to get any sort of a sign off, they said, well, submit stage 2, which is a bit more intensive. We had to do site distance calculations, drainage information, details to the cross section, signage, and all that. So we submitted that to the DOT. That's what took a bit more time to get the comments back. They responded back to us with the email that we included in your packet, where the entrance, the exit locations. They want us to add a few more signs. So the plan set that you have in your packet are the revisions in response to the DOT comments. We have not heard back officially from them, but we at least want to get those in their hands concurrently with what they're fine with the entries locations. We added all the signs that they asked for, which are really some one-way signs within the parking lot area, another do not enter sign, so that folks leaving the house will pull out 89. All traffic is going to enter 89.
So the do not enter signs would be, on Garrett Road or on by the house?
They're here off of 89, the main entrance, there's like 4 of them, so when people are parking here,
Yeah.
they don't pull.
Yeah,
and
you don't
back
pay that,
way.
yeah.
And they want us to add 1 more. We had 3. They wanted us to add 1 more so that property owners who know how to go on to.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody's tongue in cheek knows, well,
Yeah.
they're gonna drive where they're gonna drive.
Yeah.
They had us.
Yeah, okay.
Get some comments for drainage, which we're addressing. Feel like we've addressed all your comments, but
Yeah.
emails that
Yeah, no, that email was great. I did it, the swales that you added, I'm not sure if they were there in the initial drawing, but I see like you have the porous pavement. And then that looks like that slopes towards a swale that is, on sort of like the west. It's not on the 89 side, it's on the sort of the uphill side.
Yeah, so there are two bioretention filters.
Yeah,
that
those were
are
the ones.
These porous paving for the parking bays.
Yeah.
And then the bioretention.
Yeah.
And.
And I saw some mention of like 8-inch corrugated pipe, et cetera. Is that to drain the bioretention?
Yes, yeah, so each of the bioretention filters, go through a soil medium, and, collect the filtered water, and then it's piped back out to the ditch, and there's an overflow.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of DOT comments were, they have pay item numbers that.
Yeah.
match exactly, so
Yeah,
they change.
yeah, he was saying like he had trouble finding 8-inch corrugated pipe.
I don't think, they don't use lots for labor.
Yeah, but
You culvert pipe with, DOT for their driveway, a small driveway, they will block this like 15 inches.
really,
Which is interesting.
yeah. And they used 8-inch where on this? I didn't quite get
The
that.
only place we're using is, the retention filter is the drains that go out to the ditch.
Okay.
By Garrett. goes out.
So it's not actually going under the road.
No.
Right.
No. Across.
Yeah, the reason for the 15-inch pipe, I've had experience with that. But up to a 12-inch, it doesn't take much of a stick to plug it. A 15-inch, we've had them filled, the previous house, we had put in a 15 and it was filled completely with leaves. And when the water started coming down, it just took all that and just pushed it right through the pipe. Even though there was sticks and stuff like that with it, like a 3/4 inch diameter stick, there's force enough to break that. The smaller diameter one tends to plug.
Yours is gonna, where's the uphill part of that 8-inch gonna be? Where's the opening? Inlet,
Yeah, the opening.
in the underground, right?
It's gonna be,
So I'm grading in here. So each of the bioretention filters have an overflow structure.
Mhm.
Okay, so water slopes and goes into those, so it's filtered down. Then there's a pipe, so from this structure out to the ditch is the 8-inch pipe.
Okay, so I guess my question is about mine, he was referring to blockage, is there any way there's gonna be?
Yeah, this is a buried pipe, yeah, so this is.
This has all the filtering and rock and
Yeah,
everything
so
above
everything
it.
goes to this filter, which is a medium, which is like a mix of sand, lining soil. It goes through that first, there's filter fabric, then it's just the pipe out.
Not an opening, okay.
so for the overflow for that bioswale, I mean, are those above the bottom? Like
Yeah, 6 inches above the bottom.
Okay. And that flows directly into the pipe.
Yes, yeah, so you have a riser pipe, so if, once the basin is full and
Yeah.
it, has at max capacity, it'll overflow into there.
Yeah.
They go out through the same pipe. So under smaller storm events, it'll filter down through the soil media into perforated pipe and out. Higher storms, it'll overflow. That's out to the same.
And I should point out that, this wasn't required for this project per se to do the bioretention. But we thought it was best practice, for stormwater at the site and, green infrastructure being a new project and everything, so.
Yeah.
That's where we came to that.
I think it's a great example of being responsible with your runoff. Yeah. I mean, you're right there next to the ditch, you're putting in a parking area, like this is a great example. So this is a public hearing, so it's a continuation of the public hearing. Did you have any other comments on updates that you've made? Are there any other questions from board members about the project, about the new information that they've added?
None for me.
Linda?
I'm good.
Okay. So are there any members of the public here that would like to speak for our public comment? And thank you for that presentation. Any members of the public here that would like to speak? And if so, state your name and address for the record and you have 3 minutes. Michael, come on up.
I can speak from here. I still have a question.
Yeah.
On, that was never answered, 212-47 for the lakeshore zone says about two, cannot have two principal structures on a single lot. So I was so curious about that.
So the way that that had been resolved previously was, and I can let Neil speak to this as well, that this was already in existence on the same lot. And that is, they're not building a new structure with the project of the cafe. They're taking the existing gas station structure and making modifications to it. So it, in a lot of ways, the footprint is there's some addition, but in a lot of ways it's staying the same, and also the roof line is staying the same. So I think that's where we resolved that, was that it's
It's gonna be a
existing.
major renovation.
Yes, it is, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Niels, do you want to speak to that?
Sure, and we reached out to Nathan Van Wy to get his opinion on it as well, and he concurred that. In 2019, that's when the zoning code changed. Previously, the zoning did allow for two principal uses. 2019 zone changed that to just one. So the interpretation is that there's a single family house, that's a principal use, there's this non-residential use structure. Both of those are pre-existing code, and so as long as they don't make it more non-conforming, so like if they were doing the addition closer to the road, that would be not permitted, but since they're going and meeting setbacks, that's okay.
And just for the record, this is Michael Boggs speaking, and he's a town board member and Tanya Lissy's resident. Anything else, Michael? Okay. Anything else from anyone here? There are no additional comments from members of the public. I would accept a motion to close the public comment period for this project.
Make a motion to close the public comment period for this project,
Angel Hearts.
Angel Hearts Market.
Yep.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
So, we are the lead agency on this, and we are looking at, doing the seeker determination for this project. Having done a review of the project, I just want to, say that the seeker, we find the following. The proposed action is consideration of a site plan special permit approval for Angel Hearts Market located at 1404 Organic Boulevard. Project proposal is to convert the previous West End Gas and Grocery into a new restaurant use and construct a 1,350 square foot addition to the rear of the building. It's an unlisted action under the seeker, and the town Ulysses Planning Board is the lead agency. On this date, we have reviewed and accepted adequate site plan entitled Angel Hearts Market Site Plan. And the proposal should not significantly impact the overall land surface of the subject site. The proposal should not significantly impact the geological features of the site. The proposal should not significantly impact surface waters or groundwater, or the lands should not significantly impact land subject to flooding, or have a significant impact on air quality or plant and animals. The proposal will not significantly impact agricultural resources, nor would it impair the character and quality of architectural or aesthetic resources. It will not impair the character or quality of important historic sites or resources, and it does not significantly impact open space and rec opportunities. It will not have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area. The proposal should not result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkways. It would not cause significant increase in the use of energy and not cause a significant increase in noise, odor, or light impacts. And the proposal should not cause significant increases the impacts on human health from exposure to new or existing sources of contaminants. The proposal should not create a material conflict with the 2009 land use plan or zoning regulations of this zone. The proposal should not impair the character or quality of the existing community. I believe after reviewing the project as proposed and as proposed in these documents, that those things are true. Any discussion from planning board members on the points of the seeker?
None for me.
Linda?
No, it looks good to me. Thank you.
So therefore, the planning board resolves the following: that the town of Ulysses Planning Board hereby makes a negative determination of environmental significance in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law and 6 NYC-RR Part 617, New York State Environmental Quality Review, for the above reference action as proposed, based on the information in the full environmental assessment form, and therefore an environmental impact statement will not be required. Could I get a motion to approve a negative determination for the seeker? That's right.
I move we determine the negative determination to see the project.
Seconded.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
All right.
Excellent. All right. So next down the line here, we have our site plan and special permit. And we've met with you a couple times, we've asked for additional information, and you've done an excellent job of sort of responding to the concerns that we had about the septic, about the well, and about the traffic. This really does seem to fall in line with the goals of a comprehensive plan, so supporting local small business, local tourism, even local food sourcing. And so I would have the board members, because this is fairly long, so have the board members had a chance to read planning board resolution number 2024-002, a resolution for site plan and special permit for Angel Hearts Market located at 1404 Teganic Boulevard, town of Ulysses.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Linda, have you had a chance to read that as well?
Yep, I read it. It looks good.
Excellent. So as written, the planning board resolves the following. Planning board hereby grants site plan and special permit approval for the proposed development as described above and is shown on the site plan noted above, subject to the following conditions. Conditions of approval. The applicant shall document they have considered the 4 energy elements for new construction projects outlined in the Tompkins County Energy Recommendations for New Construction as part of their construction permit application. The proposal site shall utilize lower level LED lighting, and all outdoor LED lighting shall not be higher than 2700 CCT. I would accept a motion to approve the resolution as written.
I'll make a motion to accept the Angel Hearts resolution as written.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. So there you have it. It's
Next
next phase, yes, yes, indeed. You so just just out of curiosity, do you have sort of a calendar in mind? Do you have dates of sort of, this had nothing to do with our approval, just I'm curious.
Well, the next phase is we need to get a building permit, secure a contractor.
I see, okay. Yep.
We're working with Noah at Stream.
Mhm.
He's the architect, so they're gonna start working with the builder next to, start lining things up.
Yeah.
Get
Okay.
the process going.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
For the apartment officially.
yeah, there's a lot to
Little
it.
more work.
Yeah.
There is a lot to it, yeah. Well, keep at it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
you very much. Spoken's in the break.
Can't accept them.
Just another sample.
Can't
of
accept
what we're
them.
gonna have at the market.
All right. So, let's see. So next here, we have, Gulky Tram Site Plan Review. So this had required, approval by the BZA, for a couple of area variances, which the BZA granted at their December 20th meeting. They reduced the 50-foot minimum required front yard setback under the town code and, reduced the 75-foot minimum required buffer setback from the lake. And have you, because I know that, Gulky came in front of us in July and then again in September. And I think that might be prior to both. When did you guys start?
I started in September.
You started in
I've seen
September.
I
the,
heard about the trim.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard.
yep, and you saw the presentation.
Yeah.
yeah.
Excellent.
Point of reference, this is built by the same company that put my tram in. It's a little bit longer,
Yep,
but it's very similar
yeah,
in construction.
yeah, they came and they, gave us a presentation, they showed us the materials, etc. And it does seem that to have sort of a minimal impact on the slope. Unlike stairs, it's not covering any it's not covering an area, so vegetation can grow underneath it. And very sort of minimum disturbance required to install it as well. And who do we have up there on Zoom related to this project? All right, and will you just identify yourselves? Just say your names.
Chris Galkey.
All right, all right,
Amy Balky.
okay, all right, and you're the property owners?
You've also got Sean Ritchie, the builder.
Okay, great, all right, hi, Sean.
Greetings.
Thank you. So at this point, at our last meeting, we determined that we would not need a public hearing for this. We determined too small of a project to require that. However, Niels, I believe we do need to provide notice to neighbors. I think through a mailing would probably be sufficient. And that would be for our February 6th meeting. Do other planning board members have an opinion on notification? I think mailing to neighbors and signage in front of the site would be sufficient, sort of in line with what we typically do, but not requiring a public hearing on this one.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're talking notice board as well as the mailing.
I think so. I don't think it hurts, and it's fairly easy to do. And while we have the applicants here, any questions, on the items that have been submitted?
None from me.
Yeah. Yeah, and none
I-
from me. Yeah,
I have a question.
yeah.
So
Lynn.
if we just do a notification, and what if there is some negative feedback or we get something back from a neighbor or something like that? How is that handled? Without
I
a
mean,
hearing?
I think when we have our next meeting, if somebody submits something to us, in an email, or if somebody comes to the meeting, and utilizes privilege over the floor, then we would consider what they have to say in our deliberations.
Okay. So what's the, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking logically through what's the point of the notification then? To let people, it's just letting people that in the notification letter, do we say, if you have any concerns, please contact Niels or Mark or somebody like that?
I mean, I think it's neighborly. I would say, with.
Okay,
I mean, typically we have, typically when we're giving notification, it's notification of public hearing, but,
yeah, right. That's
yeah,
why,
I would say, to contact Niels.
okay.
Does that sound good to you, Niels? See those, okay.
Okay, I just haven't seen it, seen it before or understand, how the process is supposed to work for a notification.
Yeah, I mean, typically it is for public hearing, but. We didn't determine that, because a public hearing is it's a different level of burden on the applicant. It's sort of
Mhm.
presenting to everybody and all that.
Yeah, right, right.
Do you stand up there, Chris?
Sorry, yes, I just had a question. We've had, and I think I answered it for myself. We've actually had several letters go out to neighbors already, but those I believe came from the zoning board, I guess, which
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
separate from yourself.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so with that notification, I would accept a motion to schedule site plan review for February 6th. Unless there's any, yeah.
Make a motion to schedule site plan review for Galkey Tram for February 6th.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. And before we let the applicants go, just one last call, any comments or questions from board members?
Linda?
yeah,
Linda? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I have one more question. There was the new information that we got in this packet, there was something new added and I couldn't figure out what it was. What was the difference between the site plan this time and the last one? I thought that's what Niels, your notes said.
I can either let Sean respond to that if he wants to, or
Yeah.
I think.
Sure.
with the-
If you can hear me, so maybe raise your
Yep.
right hand. Great, very good. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to visit via Zoom. Not that I don't mind the trip down, but it's just great having the technology at our disposal. So appreciate that. Basically, what the differences are very minor, but they're really more clarifications on the site plan regarding dimensions from the lot lines, identification of trees. We wanted to make sure it was really clear where the tram was relative to the large trees that we weren't going to be taking down, making sure there was enough clearance for those. Also clarification on the finishing point of the tram down at the shore, 3.5 feet off of the mean high water mark. So we want to get clarity on that as well. So that was pretty much the extent of the update to the site plan.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's why I didn't, they were subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But nice touches.
Yeah.
Nice details.
yeah, like aiming between the two trees on the right.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
Yep. Yep. And the surveyor marker with for the high water. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That was
Well,
it. Thanks.
Yeah, okay, great. All right, so we will see you February 6th then.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you all. All right. So next on our agenda, we have Burtis 2-lot land subdivision. Welcome, sir. Good to see you again. And it looks like with this, so the last time that we spoke, you had a flag lot that was a little bit short. It was a little bit narrow on the frontage required. I think it was, what was it? I don't remember from last time, something 250 feet.
It was just shy of about, what was it, 350? I want to say something like that, 320.
Yeah,
And it was just under
Yeah.
5 acres.
yeah. So I see that you added another leg.
Yeah, to make it 5 acres and try to do the 2 flag lots.
Yeah. So what, can you tell me sort of, are you gonna continue to use? Would you like to make any further comments about the changes? Like, are you gonna continue to use the existing driveway?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why I moved it over so there's more clarification. If anything, if I were to ever sell this other lot, they have access to this driveway and there's no more frontage to 89, which would be a lot more convenient for people to use. existing driveway.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. It's, I mean, I'm not criticizing it in any way, but it's an odd shaped lot.
It's to make it just over the 5
Yeah.
acres,
Yeah.
really, that's the best way that we could go about it.
Yeah, well, and it gives you that frontage
Yeah, and it
as
keeps
well.
a well on my property as well.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
kind of why it bumps back over like that.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, okay. And we had asked about the septic. Let's see. I'm not sure if you included
So
that.
that is still being finished,
Mhm.
unfortunately with the muddy, terrain,
Mhm.
they're waiting for it to freeze up, so this week they are trying to. Finish it up, but it is just off the, like front right corner of the house.
Yeah.
It's like right off of that corner.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
is, geez, probably 200 feet from that well.
So, so if you go, I'm just gonna,
I have extra.
you
copies.
do? That'd be great. Yeah, if you wanna bring those up. I think if you go here.
Yeah.
In our agenda. And then come down, revised plat map, yep.
Okay.
But yeah, if you wanna bring copies up, that'd be great, because we like paper on here too. Thanks. All of us. And this little tiny lot here, it's not little and tiny, I mean, it's, you know. Are you? Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, shouldn't ask. It's fine. I just asked about one of the adjacent lots, but you know, it's not your lot and I won't direct any questions to you about it. Okay. Linda, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I'm good. Looks like a good compromise. Yeah,
So our process here is, you know, we can do a seeker. So it's you know, our sort of environmental impact assessment tonight. And then we need to schedule this for a public hearing because it's a subdivision. And so we'd be looking at doing the February 6th meeting. And I just, while I'm talking about it, are you available on that date? Sometimes people are like, oh, I'm gonna be out of town, then we can move it, you know,
No,
further down.
I should be on in the middle of building this house, so if it won't be done by then, I'll
Okay.
still be cracking away
Okay.
at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do the other board members have any questions for the applicant about the subdivision?
Not with the changes.
Yeah, okay. Bart, any, okay. All right, I feel like it's a funny shaped lot. That's okay. That's all right, it meets the standards. All right. Well, previously tonight I had read out the determinations, you know, the areas to be considered in a seeker.
Yes.
And I'm not going to read them again. You do have them in front of you if you direct yourself to Planning Board Resolution number 2024-003. Do any, and you can have a seat if you want. Do any of the board members have any questions or comments about the points noted in the seeker for this particular project? The borough's 2-lot land subdivision located at 1474 Devaney Boulevard.
None for me.
Okay.
none for me. Good.
So then, I'm gonna read out the resolution. Now therefore, the planning board resolves the following. That the town of Ulysses Planning Board hereby makes a negative determination of environmental significance. In accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law and 6 NYC-RR Part 617, New York State Environmental Quality Review, for the above referenced action as proposed, based on the information in the short environmental assessment form, and therefore the environmental impact statement will not be required. I would accept a resolution for negative secret determination as outlined in Planning Board Resolution 2024-003. 3. Could I get a motion to accept that resolution?
Move
All right,
to accept the resolutions. Seconded,
any discussion?
none from me.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Excellent. And then I would also accept the resolution to, well, I think for the public hearing, we should do notices to neighbors, and the board out front. I would. and-
Do you want the board just on the one where the driveway is? Although the other leg comes down to 89, I think the driveway is probably sufficient.
I think that's sufficient as well.
Mhm.
I would
agree.
I would accept the motion to schedule a public hearing for our next meeting at February 6th.
Make a motion to schedule a public hearing for February 6th. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right, so we will see you on the 6th. And as far as the board goes, Niels, should he come by here to pick it up?
I'll let you know when we get it all ready to go. Oh, it should be later this week. I appreciate it.
And we have to have it posted out there a certain number of days ahead of the hearing, so keep your eye on your email. Yeah. All right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So next we have Bennett, which is even more interesting than the last one. And do we have anyone here related to this application? Up on Zoom, anyone? No? Okay. So this is the parcel, well, it's one parcel being subdivided, and each new parcel will have a little triangle shape. Little Dorito shaped piece that'll be either in the town of Ulysses or the village of Trumansburg.
Right.
And as proposed, each of those little pieces will be their own tax parcel. And they will be non-conforming, they will not meet requirements for lot size or frontage or anything like that.
Right.
And that's what the BZA has to determine if they want to approve that or not. And I wanted to ask Niels, when are they making that determination?
Excuse me, they canceled their meeting tomorrow.
Yeah,
They kind of wanted to see what the planning board's determination on the seeker was. But sounds like we should be good to go on February 21. So next
Right.
month, hopefully.
all right. So what I would propose tonight is that we address the seeker and that we not schedule a public hearing until we know that the BZA has met and has made their determination, because if somebody got sick and they didn't have a quorum and they had to cancel, I don't want to be doing a public hearing on something that
They haven't discussed
they
yet.
haven't resolved yet. So as much as I would like to say, we should be good to go on the 21st, I just don't know. So we don't have the applicant here.
I did get an email.
Yeah.
The attorney's office, he wasn't gonna be able to show up, but basically just saying that they're still waiting for the topo survey
Yeah,
and pushing the survey to get that as soon as possible, so.
well, I mean, we could also wait. I mean, I like to. It's a fairly straightforward
Yeah,
subdivision.
and it's a very flat piece of land.
Yeah.
I don't see
Yeah,
anything significant that's gonna change.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Do we have any idea why the BZA had concerns about the seeker?
Yeah,
You know?
do we?
Well, because, again, some of the actions before the BZA require seeker, and we went through, and the planning board went through the notice to act as lead agency.
Mhm.
So
Oh.
I think it was just, they wanted resolution of
Okay.
that prior to.
Okay.
Know whether or not we want.
Well, they just want to know whether or not it's gonna require environmental impact state, full environmental impact statement or not, and I think a procedural thing, it sounds like
Right,
they don't,
okay.
they can't move.
Yeah.
forward unless they know
Okay,
that.
so,
Right,
So it's in everyone's interest for us to address this tonight then.
yeah,
And just as far as that's concerned, the BZA said they concurred that the planning board should act as lead agency and.
Right.
Yeah, okay, great, great.
Yeah, right. Okay. I remember that discussion. I didn't realize, yeah, never mind.
Given the elements of the seeker, do any board members here have comments or questions, remarks on the elements of the seeker as it relates to this,
no,
this proposal?
Yeah.
not gonna change anything other than.
Then the
it
line.
changes lines on
Line
paper,
map.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
the shed's gonna stay
Yeah.
put, the garage is gonna stay put, the house is gonna stay
Right.
where it is, and
yeah.
and the people across the street that want the piece of property to keep it open.
Yeah, I think typically when we're looking at seeker for subdivision, we're looking to see, are we creating an unsellable lot or an unusable lot by, cordoning off a wetland or cordoning off a stream, something like that.
Right,
And that's not the case here.
No.
Let's see. I'm just gonna let's go back and let's take one more look at this map here.
What is? What are the property boundaries? What are on these properties?
Well, there's houses. I mean,
the
it's
front one on
right.
South Street Extension is the house.
Right, but okay, so if I'm looking at this right, north of parcel B, for instance,
Mhm,
I know about where this is.
mhm. So, typically,
Yeah, I mean, as far as secret,
Yeah.
I don't see.
I'm just looking through to make sure that we have what we typically need as far as like our standards go for, he submitted all these additional maps. Which I was like, why'd you do that? He was like, oh, they're just there. All right, so I think that given what they're asking, we can move forward with the seeker, but prior to site plan review, I do want to have a topo map. And I do want to have a map that contains, well, it's in the village. Are there any wells?
There's any way,
Any wells?
right?
I mean,
wells.
typically we want to know about wells,
Septic.
septic, and, topo and any wetlands.
Right.
So I mean, those are really the things that we want to have, when we move forward with the site plan review. And typically I like to see those things prior to completing a seeker. Given the residential nature of this particular area, and given the fact that it's really moving sort of one extended backyard from one house into an extended backyard for another house.
Yeah,
I feel comfortable moving forward with the seeker without those things. How do other board members feel about that? Linda, how do you feel about that? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Thank you. I think we should wait. I mean, what's the value of doing the seeker before we have all the information we have?
Yeah.
We're pushing it. I don't think it makes a difference. We could do it the same day we do the resolution, correct?
So here's the thing is I think it does make a difference to the BZA. That's, Niels, could you elaborate on that? Do they, I mean, the applicant's asking for us to do something that we would rather sort of maintain our standards for. At the same time, it's not a super complicated, proposal either. I mean, it is when you consider the boundaries of the towns, that makes it very complicated, but it's not like other things.
Don't we, all we have to do is state that we will take lead agency?
Well, we already have. I mean.
Okay.
already have. So does the BZA, I mean, are they saying they need the seeker to be,
So
the negative determination to be found prior to them?
Well, won't we have a meeting before then on the 6th of February?
Yeah,
They're
we
not
will.
meeting till the 21st.
Yeah,
So we should be able to do the seeker on the 6th.
yeah, we could do that. When is the BZA meeting?
So they're meeting on the 21st.
Okay,
So you could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But under state law, seeker determination needs to be done before they can make their decision. And the same here, like
Yeah.
before you can make your decision.
yeah,
They are on municipal water,
they are.
so the only thing I could ask them about is on their septic. If,
Yeah, well, and I mean, I also, I wanna, typically we ask for a map that has like topo and wetland. Um, and if they could submit that to us by the 6th, or, a few days prior to the 6th, I would rather hold off and wait to get that, cause it's sort of within our standard, we wanna have those things. And I feel like the seeker especially, we're talking about environmental concerns, so let's see, cause we have this very detailed map of lot lines, but that's about it.
Is the village gonna get involved in this? Rotation out.
Well, it doesn't change the village's line, it changes. I guess eventually the ownership, that's why all the
Yeah.
tax properties.
Yeah.
So that what's already village being taxed remains village taxed.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, well, and we also asked for this before. I mean, I believe that we asked for this at our last meeting. So,
Yeah, but I guess if we break it down, we only have to look at one area, right? And then the village looks at the other area where the
well,
swing of the.
I mean, we really look at the whole thing.
Right,
So,
but I recognize that.
all right. All right, so will you reach out to the applicant and ask for those couple things?
Yep.
All right, so,
Then we would just table the
yeah, we would table
seeker
this.
tonight, until the 6th.
Yep. I don't think we need a resolution. So, board appointments. I mean, I got appointed to be chair for the next year, and Rebecca got reappointed, for additional.
5-year,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
and mine's a 1-year
yeah,
as an alternate.
yeah. And 5-year as well,
Okay,
I believe.
I think so, based
Yeah.
on what I
Yeah.
read the last couple of days.
Town board liaison report, is that you tonight? Yeah. Go ahead.
do you want to talk about vice chair? I know you don't have a full Rebecca and Mo on here, but do you want
Well, I mean, Linda, do you wanna be vice chair again?
Sure.
Okay.
It works for me. It's fine.
Okay.
It's such a demanding role. Yeah,
What about we nominate you for a 1-year term as vice chair?
okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
I nominate Linda Little for a 1-year term as vice chair. Could I get
Seconded.
second? All right, any discussion? All in favor? Aye, excellent. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that.
Mm. Sure. Thanks.
Michael, do you have a town board liaison report? And are you the new town board liaison? Are you stepping in for Rich?
Sure, it's strong.
I was wondering about that.
You used up Rich. Apparently he'd done it for a very long time.
We did have him for a long
I didn't
time.
realize how long he had done it, so I
How long was it?
think he said it was like the whole time he's been on the board. So 12 years, and maybe he was exaggerating, but it was very long.
Oh, I think it might be 12
Thank you,
years.
thank you to Rich for doing that for a long time. So I'll do my best. So if you guys have suggestions for me or
Yeah.
things you want to know,
Yeah,
that, maybe it's not in Neil's court or whatever, something from the town board,
yeah, okay,
So what I do want to do is to make sure that I am sending you some of the training opportunities.
yeah,
So I'm hoping we can do that earlier in the year.
yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Might be lacking. So there's another one, like a orientation one that's, I think, pretty important.
Okay,
Then there's also, that one has and I want to make sure that, and I don't know if I need to bring it to you, I'll have to talk to Niels about it also, but the planning board is pretty important in the comprehensive plan. So I don't want to, use up more of your time, but there's, it's really important you guys are aware of it, what's going on. So,
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to figure out how I can bring
Yeah.
that information to
Well,
you.
yeah. One way that I would think is, when you say bring that information to us, how frequently do you anticipate there being significant updates? Because I love hearing from you, because that gives
Yes,
us a
so
chance
there's,
to talk about it.
They're still getting up to speed. It was delayed getting the Niels, what was it? DEC, which was there was a regulatory agency.
Easy.
Yeah, DEC that we had, it took much longer than we expected to get the contract through. So we got the contract through, and the comprehensive plan committee has been kind of floating along because there's only so much they can do without having the contract and getting a consultant on board.
Got it.
So then the January meeting was canceled. They're gonna bring back up again in February.
Okay.
So I expect more, I expect some information to be able to start with February. So I think what I'm gonna try to do is say, hey, this is what they talked about, this is where we are, and then we can either, correct me back us.
Yeah.
So the two of us can
Okay.
bring it
Okay.
to you.
Yeah.
But the comprehensive plan is it's like the guiding document for.
I know.
what you guys are doing.
Yeah. No, we use it. I mean, we
Yeah,
reference
so
it.
That's what's very important. So
It's
I wanna
our
make sure that
strength.
that is,
Yeah.
There's a potential linkage
Yeah.
there.
Does the comprehensive plan process at some point ask for input from the plan board?
I hope so. And that's why I'm gonna, I wasn't here for the previous comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
I was here for our zoning update.
Yep.
That we used the comprehensive.
Yep.
Plan to guide us in that.
Yeah.
So again, between that committee and Niels.
Yeah.
Figure out, what to bring to you and what, there's questions.
Yeah.
Linda was in on some of the other stuff, so she's,
Okay. Is the comprehensive plan committee meeting monthly or twice a month?
they've been meeting monthly.
Yeah. Okay. And
So I don't know, do you expect that to ramp up once we get?
Yeah, I'm anticipating at least once a month, and then once we start doing more public outreach and involvement, it might tick up.
okay.
Yeah.
And do you have like a calendar for when you anticipate doing the public outreach, and do you have a goal in mind for sort of when you anticipate creating a draft?
So I think we could share Roxanne wrote a document, we could share that with you.
Yep.
But I just want to be careful because we thought that the contract was gonna be a long time ago. So
Yeah,
if you just read it without that information, you go, oh my God,
they're behind.
yeah, we're behind, what are we
Right.
doing? And so
Right.
we'll just have to take and say, we're at this point. and
Yeah.
then maybe just take all those dates. and move
Yeah,
forward.
okay.
So I expect over the next 2 to 3 months, probably.
Okay.
We'll have something, a little better
Yeah.
idea of what we're doing.
And is it the kind of thing that you anticipate, just for my thinking about it, do you anticipate having a draft like by June or by like December?
I think we'll know better in a couple, 3 months.
Okay.
Once we get the consultant on board, we can figure out
Yeah.
what outreach we're going to do and how we're
Yep.
gonna do it. And then
Yep.
I think that those dates will start to make more sense.
Okay, and do we also have a deadline as far as like state requirements for like when we have to have the plan updated by?
Oh, the state has, I think, what do they recommend, like every
Like
10
10
years? I
years?
forget, there's a number they have, I don't remember what it is, but we're kind of over that now.
Yeah, okay.
It's 2009, and I think it
Yeah.
was, I have 10 stuck in my head.
I have 10 stuck in my head too. Yeah, okay. All right,
The only real hard number that we're stuck to is the grant, which is, we have to have everything wrapped up by 2028. But the plan, at least at this point, is to have it all wrapped up by next year, so
yeah.
we should
Okay.
be healthy buffer.
Yeah,
For your info, Mr. Goldman added me as the Lakeshore rep
oh,
on there.
good, nice.
There you go, there's our.
Yeah, there's
our
connect right
I
there.
think Mo and
Oh, Rebecca.
Rebecca are already on
Okay.
the
Oh,
part of the group that was
Okay.
assembled before I was added to it to
Yeah.
fill in
Okay.
for the Lakeshore
Okay.
spot. So you already
Yeah.
got 3 of the planning board
Yeah.
members on there, so
So maybe we'll add a segment to our agenda for each meeting, comprehensive
Yep.
plan update.
That would be a good
And
prompt.
that way,
Yeah.
And
just share.
we can
what's
just
going on.
feedback that way,
Yeah.
because we're pretty tightly
Okay.
involved already and.
All right,
That'd
awesome.
be perfect, yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. Michael, anything in it Teganic? Because I know that they were going to you and then it potentially would come back to us if it
came up,
went to you.
A real short thing, they had postponed it, I think by a month. They were gonna come to us, so a couple of board members asked about it.
Yeah. And so nothing
Nothing,
yet, okay. Okay. Oh,
like that down.
What about?
Yeah.
Was it General Dollar?
oh, Dollar General?
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna come back to us.
Okay.
Yeah, if they come back to us. We'll see. Who knows? All right, well, anything else? From,
Thank you,
yeah,
yeah, and thank you guys for all the work you do,
great, thanks, Mike.
very important,
Thanks, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um,
and thanks for being the chair again.
oh, you're welcome. Just,
Just from my
Well,
experience on the town board, it was like, it took a whole like 4 years to go. I think I know what I'm doing now.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Well,
but I think
that's,
know
I
what
mean,
I'm
I
doing
just,
now.
yeah, I've been chair for 2 years and now I feel like, okay, I
Yeah.
kind of get it. Don't want to stop now.
Yeah, exactly, that's kind
Yeah.
of where I ran again. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute,
Give the
and
rest of
people
the
were
time
patient
to
with me
get
for all this time to get up to speed.
Exactly,
And
yes.
I think I better use, what I think I
Yeah,
learned.
exactly. All right. Linda?
Yes, I have a question about back to seekers and for the Gawkey tram.
Yeah.
I went out to look for the BZA notes on the tram and they don't have their minutes yet. Or that I could find. Do you think they are out there, Niels? Somewhere, and I may have been looking at the wrong place.
Let me double check. I thought they were up there.
I went to the town board and they have a section for BZA and there wasn't anything in it that I saw.
Yeah, first, it should be there. It doesn't look like the link is working, so I'll get that resolved and I'll let you know.
Okay, but that was just a nit, but I'm wondering about when we do this, we haven't done the seeker yet on the tram, right? Or that,
We
I'm
did.
pretty
We just
sure.
Did that tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we just did, Linda,
Not for Gulky.
not for Gulf.
Not for Gawkey, yeah.
We did it for Burris and we held off on Bennett. And we did it for Angel Hearts tonight.
Today, but at some former time, I looked through and I didn't see it to check my memory. But the point the thing I'm concerned with is what really startled me when I looked at the Gulkey tram this time was where the lakefront where we are supposed to have 75-foot setback from some point on the lake, and where the tram is going to land very close to the high water mark or the mean high water mark out on the beach shore. And we've reconciled that, and I was looking to see how the BZA worded it and how they justified it, because shouldn't we need to incorporate that in our seeker, I think. And we also need to make it, because other trams will happen, like
Yeah.
Carl's tram, and we're justifying it because of the minor impact that this kind of structure makes. Because going so far to the edge of the lake shore is really startling when you just step back. You get kind of into the building of it and it's a good idea and all this kind of stuff, and you're replacing the stairs and you stop thinking that, well, wait a minute, you're not supposed to do anything within 75 feet of the lake. So I think we have to be really clear about why this kind of thing is acceptable to do. And
Because earlier you mentioned 3.5 feet above high tide. Right?
Well, it's set back from the high tide line is the 3.5 feet. And when they put my tram in, Linda, what they wanted to do, because mine, the BZA came back and said mine had to be 12 feet back from the high water line.
Yeah,
And the tram guys, when they were putting it in, they wanted to use that 12 feet to the bottom end of the rails that the tram rides on. The actual car of the tram sits about another 3 foot beyond the end of those rails when it's at the bottom. The tram you're normally gonna have it at the upper end,
Right.
so all you have is two 6-inch aluminum rails that
Right.
are sitting down
Right.
there on a crossbar.
Yeah.
But anyway, in my case, I said, because I've dealt with zoning issues before, and I'm going to always err on the side that there's no way in hell anybody's gonna give me a hard time about it, so I made the 12 foot to the edge of the car when it was
Oh.
down there, so I forced them to push the rails back another
Awesome.
3 feet on mine. That's just me being me.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, because the car sticks out over when it's all the way down there, but the rails themselves, and I know they squawked on mine because they had to make 2 steps to get down from it instead of 1. You know, the whole idea of the tram is to eliminate the steps, but I said, I don't care, it's gonna go there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we should probably look at your seeker and see how we worded it. I mean, I have no memory on that at all. But
So,
what I'm getting at is I think this is now, I think it's probably more and more likely that there'll be more of these, and we need to have it
Yeah.
pretty clear about why we allow those. And we allow that kind of activity on the lakefront, you know.
So-
Niels, what
in
were
the-
you gonna say? I just
Yeah.
want to give Niels one chance here.
so for Linda, I
And then
think
Mike.
your discussions on environmental impacts would be under the site plan review. Under.
Rather than that, okay,
Yeah, under state law, it's something like this is considered a type 2 action, which does not require seeker. So
Okay.
we didn't do a
Okay.
seeker for Carl's, and one's not required
I see.
for Galkey either.
oh, okay,
Okay. That makes sense.
right.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So, okay, but even more so, if we don't, we're not really addressing the environmental issues we need to in the site plan part, since we don't have the seeker component
I
of it.
guess, I
But
guess I'm most interested in the language the BZA uses to.
Yeah.
Because I think that's sort of the crux of it. I mean, once it's approved by them, then we're looking at what the impact potentially is, and we see the vegetation is able to grow underneath there, and the
Right,
impact.
all
is-
of that good
is
stuff.
small.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it mostly falls with the BZA to, I mean, it does fall with them to make that determination, but I think they're gonna have a lot of these eventually. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
people like them, I would imagine stairs are gonna continue to deteriorate and rot over time as they
Mhm.
do. And people who own lake houses are getting older.
and have we more or less, and I think de facto, we've decided that that's a better technology for getting to the lakefront than a stairway because it has less of an environmental impact,
I
right?
would even argue that, the pressure treated wood that's being driven into the ground and used to construct the stairs has a greater environmental impact, just by virtue of the chemicals in it.
Right,
Then-
exactly,
and-
yeah.
And it's a much bigger footprint because typically with the stairs, well, mine had 52 treads in a straight shot. But then it angled over on top. My neighbor's is about 5 different dog leg sections that go back and forth across the hill getting up there because, most people aren't big on the idea of heading up the steps. My daughter's dog wouldn't even go down the steps on
Yeah.
mine. It was too steep. So
Yeah.
anyway, because I was surprised, it took these guys on mine, I think mine was only 75 foot long, so they had a couple less pieces of pipe to drive. But they had all the pipes driven in 4 hours on mine. They just
Wow,
started walking
that's
down the
amazing.
hill and they had a guy up on
That
top
is
cutting the
amazing.
pieces of pipe and feeding it down to them.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
they would just drive the pipes and
Yeah.
loosely fit the cross pieces onto it and go drop down and drive the next set.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's
And-
pretty neat.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Well,
great,
I-
okay.
I would accept a motion to adjourn. If you don't have any further comments on the tram, Linda.
Oh, no, I just wanted to make, tried to make it clear that we need to take some, be really clear in our own minds. And I don't think we have. This is kind of the second one we've dealt with. And that's my point, so that it's not reinventing the wheel every time we go at it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know in the case of mine, it was trying to figure out where to get real estate enough on the bottom to put that little 4 foot by 4 foot platform that you step off onto. So that the ground is not too steep to land one of them and you can walk down to the beach from there.
Yeah. Okay. It would be great. Can you take a photo of it or something sometime to bring in? I would love to see.
I
it. Okay.
can, or what I'd like to do is invite you guys, come down to my place and we'll hop on the tram and ride up and down and see what it feels like.
That's a good.
That
Well,
way, I think it's the easiest
good.
way to do that. I'm
Yeah.
at 1375 Teganic Boulevard, so.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea. Okay. Thank you for the offer, Carl.
Yeah, I think for me at least, visually, I had the advantage because the neighbors just north of me had one, so I could walk over and look at their tram
Yeah.
and see what mine was gonna look like, and the only difference between mine and theirs was I put the set of steps, the emergency egress steps, because my old wood ones were getting so shaky. I had fixed them about 8 or 10 times already in the first year and a half owning the place. And so
Yeah.
it's not a cheap toy. Mine was about 87,000 when they got done. So this
Yeah,
is.
it's a commitment.
This is-
That's for sure.
Oh, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Right, motion to adjourn.
Somebody wants to get out of here? What is this?
Well, you're already home, Linda. You
I
got
know. Easy for me, right?
It was 14 when I came
Bye.
up the hill there. It was 18 earlier.
Yeah, it's not warm out there.
It's just-